So now that we've got our courses displaying, let's go for something a little more complicated. Let's say that I have learners and I want those learners to be able to view my course and run through it. So I'm going to head over to the people in the platform. I'm going to open Mike David's profile and I'm just going to assign learning to him. So this is all just demo stuff that we've set up in our platform. So let's say that I have assigned that learning to Mike David. I'm now going to go in as though I were Mike. So it says, welcome, Mike. I can see now that I've got this required training. Now, when I click this, what's going to happen is we're going to be sent to a route that is going to basically invoke this API. You can see here my course is loading and we've embedded it here. What goes on in the background there is that this is just the front-end component for this view that we're seeing on the side here. So we basically go and fetch API view, which is this endpoint here, and we pass through a course ID. And then that course ID then gets picked up here. At the moment, we're just generating a random identifier because we don't have an actual kind of login for this demo. But for you, your identifier would be basically the logged in user's ID, basically so that we can reconcile the tracking for this course with the right user, and you can then call it out at a later time. So we're requesting a headless course view with the view action, and we're passing through this identifier. Note that an identifier is required when you're fetching a signed URL in this view action. So you do need to pass us something in that identifier field. If the identification of your users doesn't matter to you, you could pass something random like we're doing here. But in most cases, this would be a unique identifier on your end. It could be something like an email, but we would probably discourage the usage of emails. While they are unique, they do end up handing over personally identifiable information to us, which if you can limit the scope of you handing over that kind of information, that's going to be better for you. Cool. So now we've got our courses coming into our platform. We can view those courses as learners. One thing that you're probably going to want to do is, as I'm clicking through this course, you're going to want to know how much progress I've made through the course. So you can see that the progress has updated. In terms of how we're doing that, is we're basically listening to what the iframe's post message. The iframe will post messages about the progress of the course out to your application that you can then consume. So I've purely got here on message, we want to parse the message. It's useful to wrap this in a try catch just because if this parsing fails, it could block. And if the type of message is progress, then we're basically setting it in some local state. You might want to persist that in your database in some form, but for the purposes of this demo, we're just persisting it locally just so we can see this effect. If we head over to the developer documentation, there is a page called events, and this will show you all of the events that are available to you that we will emit as part of the course player. So you can see here, course progress is the one we've just consumed, but we're also telling you when the session is ready, when the course is completed, when somebody gives feedback at the end of a course, as each screen starts and ends and completes, and then also for quiz screens, answers and retries. So there's lots of fidelity there available to you. There is various detail underneath those events. I would highly recommend you get in, listen to those events and kind of log out the detail of them just to see exactly what's coming through and how you can make that useful for you.